scratch using Love2d and Lua. Yesterday we got this stairwell working and the kind of like entrance to a cave. Now, I kind of wanted to work on something different today, so I wanted to do our lute music system. So I think we'll be starting that today. Hey, what's up, Magnetonics? How's it going, dude? I recorded 4 notes for the bass strings of the lutes, so I will attempt to start our lute minigame. We're going to do a couple of different things. I'm hoping we have, by the end of this episode, hoping we have 4 strings on screen where we can toggle the minigame on or off. And then hopefully we can play each of those notes, pluck each of those strings and sound comes out. And then it's probably like a stretch goal of getting the strings to be animated, like wiggling once you play it. So if we can have that, that would be a big start to this system. So let's dive into it. Yeah. So hey, that's good, Magnetonics. Yeah, just listen to yourself. If you need a break, take a break. If you want to go for it, get coding. And what's up, Leva, too? I see your little guy there. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so I think I'm gonna start today off with maybe doing some audio editing for the sounds I just recorded. So let's get Adobe Audition open, and then I will pull in. I actually will probably need to convert. Yeah, let me pull up Media Encoder real quick, and we will export the movie files as a WAV file, and then we can pull it in to Audition and trim and export, and then I'll show you guys maybe some normalization stuff. Next step is animation and UI for winning a battle. Not sure where to start with that, dude. I know. It's tough. You just gotta pick one thing, visualize it first as good as you can, what you would like it to look like, and then just, piece by piece, step by step. That's the only way I can kind of keep sense of it. I'll get overwhelmed if I think about too much, or all that's left to do still. So it is definitely tricky. Screen wide UI animation is something you don't really know yet. Well, hey, dude, you'll learn it, and then you'll be able to make more different stuff, and do you just get better at it. I think this is the one. Let me make sure this is the one. I just played it. Okay, yeah. It's super quiet, but I'm playing some notes there. So I think that's the one. We want to turn it into a wave. Yeah. So I think what I'll do, I'll put it in documents here, and I'll just make a folder called lute music. And we'll plop this in here, and this will be called 4-string test. I looked up some standard tuning for classic lutes, and it looks like the one I saw was tuned to D minor, but it was down half a step. So what I have is F, D, A, and then what is it? F, D, A, and F again, going down. So we'll try to just pull out those 4 notes, and we can always change which 4 notes, but I tuned mine. I played it 1/2 step down from the D minor tuning, so it should match what a typical lute tuning would be in the Bach period, or at least from what I saw in that video I was watching. So let's open this up with Adobe Audition, and then we can work on messing with it. So here's our notes. Super quiet. And you want, I'll mute this so we can hear this better. So okay. Sweet. So those are the 4 notes we want. So let's focus on these notes. So we're gonna okay, so yeah, it goes F, D, A, F. I'm pretty sure. I think what I want to do is turn these 2 down, just so they're not overpowering the other ones. And then we will export each one as its own MP3 file. Let's hear if they sound the same loudness. That sounds pretty close to me, loudness-wise. Okay, maybe this one's a little too loud, so we'll just shrink it a bit. Okay. Okay, sweet. So let's export one by one here. And what's kind of tricky is like we want to make sure they each have the same starting, like we want it to be like, you know, on frame 1, the first frame that sound is coming out, that's the frame we want to start it on. So maybe right here. And then we don't want it any longer than necessary. But yeah, maybe we'll just end it right there. So that'll be our F note. And I think we can do, how do we do this? Save as, save selection as an MP3, and we'll put it in our Tashio. I don't know if we want to put this, I guess we would have to put this in the Git repo at some point, huh? It's like I don't want to put it in the repo before it's finalized, but I play on my other machine too, so I'd want the music to work. So I might go here into sounds and make a lute folder. And we'll put this as F2, F, D, A, F1. So we'll say it goes F2 right here. Export as an MP3, and we can go for a 128 kilobits. 48,000 hertz is maybe okay. I want to do 44.1. I don't know why, but 48, I don't know. 48 feels overkill for a Game Boy game, so yeah, and we'll see what 8-bit sounds like. Let's see. If we export this and then hear it, yuck. Okay, there's a bunch of noise in there, so we don't want 8-bit. So let's try save selection as. Let's just do 24-bit 44.1, and we'll hear that. So this should be F2, and we'll try to hear if this one sounds much better. Okay, yeah. So 44.1, 24-bit MP3, 128 kilobit data rate. So let's do the rest of our notes here. So let's go get this guy. Okay. The stream feels so naked without the music going on in the background. Okay. Yo, what up, K-Tron? How's it going, dude? We're starting to make our lute music minigame. So that's what we're working on. I'm just exporting some files here for that. So that's why it's oddly quiet in here, because we're actually working on audio. Sweet. Okay. Oh my, what did I just do? Okay. FD, and then this should be A. And then, what the heck? Did I not export it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Sweet. And then this is F1. Not really F1, but F lower octave than F2. So we'll call that. Shit. Okay. Sweet. Okay, I'm gonna get my music back. Okay, and then we'll export this guy. Save selection as. This is gonna be F1. 24-bit, 44.1, 128 kilobits. Sounds good. Okay, and then so we've got to actually do something. We can. Let's just see what happens when we start implementing this. So, what we'll do is we've got our songs in the folder, so we just need to import them as. I know graphics are called drawables, so I'm gonna call them soundables or whatever. But all it is just a new sound. So if we look at our sounds here, we do have a table of sounds. So we could call it, we've got F2. So we can say that's just F2. I don't know proper names yet for what we want to do it. It might be called string 1 through 4, but I don't know. I haven't figured out all that yet, so we just have a placeholder. We know it's in the sounds folder, and then it's in the lute folder, and then it's called f2.mp3, and we'll import it as a static file. then we'll get ourselves the rest of those sounds. And we have a D1. And then where did I just do? Okay. Yank, paste, paste. Okay, then we have an A1 and then a F1. So we'll go and do this is A1 and this is F1. Okay, so now we should have those 4 sounds imported, so we should be able to play them with the click of a button if we were so inclined. So let's go see, and where would this be? Would this be in the play state or in the map? I feel like we'd want a sort of like music module to plop it in so that it doesn't get in the way of anything in our play state and stuff. But for now, I guess I'll just put it in the play state and then we can take it out if it's too much in there. We probably should have a... See, and I don't know what that would be. Would that be a class? I don't know. Let's just try to plop it in the play state and see. So what we want to do is just play the sounds if a key is pressed. So it should be very simple. We should just be able to say if love.keyboard was pressed, and then we'll give it the key we want it to be. Now maybe I'll do UIOP for the 4 strings here, at least for the test purposes. So we'll say if U is pressed. Now, how do we want it to go in terms of, I'm trying, like, if we visualize the strings, 4 strings on the screen, the lowest string should be what, at the top? Because that's how a traditionally tuned guitar is the low string on top. So U would be, if we turn the keys like this, that would be the lowest string. So that would be F1. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, and then if we match it, so like on a keyboard, on a piano, right, it goes higher notes on the right, lower notes on the left. So it makes sense to me that U would be the lowest note. So if U is pressed, then what we would want to do is do a sounds global table at index F1. And then we would want to play it. So let's see if pressing U does anything. Okay, so it does play. But one issue with Love2d right out the box is that they have it set where, like, we can do something like this, where we can say sounds of our F1 is gonna be looped. So we can say, okay, well now set looping to true on that. I think we can do that, and then if we hit U, it'll loop as soon as it ends. See, like, I'm not pressing anything, but it's looping. So I bring this up because how long it takes to play again is how long the whole file is. So all this to say, if we wanted, we can't play the same sound before that sound has ended straight outside the box. So we have to use a different sound library to be able to play the same sound more than once at any given moment, because the way Love2d works right out the box is that any one sound, if you try to play the sound that's already playing, it's like, well, I'm not going to play this, it's already playing, so I'm not going to do anything. but we want to be able to press, you know, the note a couple of times. Every time we press the note, we want a sound to come out. So we're going to have to import a new library, but it is super easy. It's called Slam. I had to do this for another project of mine. Let's see, this is it. Slam. A simple love audio manager, minimally invasive. So all it is require Slam and then do the same old thing that we want to do. It's just that it's kind of like an instance now. Each one is its own instance. So I believe it's really this simple. Like all we have to do, geez, this is 12 years old. Let's download this, and then I actually should have it in another project of mine, but we can just download it. Okay, Slam. Nope. This is it. Okay. Permission is granted free of charge, with including copy, modify, merge, sublicense, or sell. Sweet. Software as is. Okay, sweet. So it's actually not that much. Yeah, it's like what, 60 some lines? Let's take Slam and we'll put it in our library. So we'll put it here, we'll paste it. So now we've got Slam, but we need to tell our game that Slam exists. So we will go here into I do want to turn looping off so that it doesn't loop by default, and then we'll go into our dependencies, and where we're doing all of our requires, we're going to require our library Slam. So I think we want to say require our lib/slam. I think that's all we need to do, honestly, but let's see. If we load this, it is not looping anymore, but let's see. Press it once. It's not looping. That's it. So we can play multiple instances. Sweet. So let's get our other notes in there now. So let's go to our play state and we'll say our other notes. So let's actually, we need the next note is going to be on I, and it's going to be an A1. And then next note is going to be on O, and it's going to be the D1. Next note is P, and then that's going to be F2. Okay, so why'd I do this? Let's try this. Okay, so we've got 4 strings at least. So we've got 4 notes going. We need some kind of UI to show the strings in action, and then also we need some, I'm hoping to get some like animation of the strings to show when we press it. So maybe for today we just worry about changing the colors, the strings color, but we'll see how far we can get. So we want to toggle the UI for this lute So I'm just going to say that we're going to have a local variable up here, and it's going to be called lute state or something. We're going to initialize it to false, but if we press L, we'll toggle the lute state. So we'll say if the keyboard was pressed and the key was L, then we can lute state gets true. So we can say lute state gets true. And there's a way we can do, we want to toggle it on and off. So if it is true, we want it to be false. If it's not true, we want it to be true. So we can say, I know there's a way we can do like a ternary for this. I think we can say lute state gets lute state and true or false. I think that's how we can do a ternary in Lua. We can print up lute state and see if that is actually working. So we can say love.graphics print, and we want to print the lute state, and we will concatenate it with the actual stringified version of our local variable lute state. And we'll print it at 0, 0. Let's see. Lute state false. And then if we hit L, we are not becoming true. So I must have jacked up the ternary operator. So lute state gets lute state and true or false. Let me look this up real quick because I know there's a way to do it. A and blah or nah. A and blah or nah. So maybe I don't even need the assignment here. Just do this. No. Kind of mad. I know I've done this before. Yeah, you could do a one line like this. Condition and if true or if false. Condition. Yeah, so the condition would be true, or this gets evaluated, and then if true is equal to true, it'll be false, and if true is not equal to true, it'll wait. I'm confused. Let's just do if lute state return false, else return true. We need an end. I think I'm going to turn off the console debugging because I think that's what's causing these issues with... Okay, this still isn't working. Oh. Nope. Okay. This is jacked up. Lute state gets true. If this doesn't work, then we're just jacked up. Okay, so that works. So I know there's a way... Yeah, let's just do it here. If lute state is true, then lute state gets false. I wanted to do the cool ternary way, but I am not figuring that out at the moment. And then if it's not true, we'll say lute state gets true. That should work. Okay, so we can toggle on our lute state now with L. So what we want to toggle is 4 strings on screen, and hopefully when you press a certain button, the string would light up or something. So maybe we can do some, we can have, let's think about how we want to do this. We can have one string, one rectangle for every string, at least for this proof of concept. And if we press it, then we can have a, or we can do some check, like if U is down, then set the color of that string to be equal to red or whatever, so that we can see it. So let's try to just get a string on screen here. So we're gonna conditionally render it for if we're in a lute state. So if we're lute state, then go ahead and love.graphics set color to be equal to white, which I think we have it saved where we can do it like this. And then we want to do a love.graphics.rectangle, and we need to fill it, and we need a X and a Y and a width and a height. So let's just say 10, 0. No. X is 0, Y is 10. Width and a height. Width, we want the virtual width, and the height we want maybe 4 or 5 pixels. Let's see what 5 looks like. So if it's lute state, we should see one white string going across. Sweet. That's maybe too big. Because if, yeah, let's do maybe, let's see what 3 looks like. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's move our lute state down to the bottom here, and we'll say virtual height minus maybe 20. So we don't get in the way there. Okay, maybe minus 50. Okay, so we've got a lute state. Okay, so let's add another local variable for each string if it is currently being pressed. So I think we want to do something like we can say F1 pressed is false, and then we want this for every note. So we have a D1, we have a A1, and then we have a F2. So we can do a check for continuous input and change these values to true based on that input, and then conditionally render a different color string if those things are being pressed. So right here we can start doing our conditional or our continuous input checks. So if love.keyboard.is down, we can say if U is down, then we want U is F1. So then we can say F1 pressed gets true, and otherwise F1 pressed is false. And then I believe we're only rendering F1 at the moment, so we can say if F1 pressed, then we want to set graphics color to red. I want to say we have a red constant saved, but we might not. Let's see. If one pressed, set color to red, else set color to white. Okay, let's see. So we toggle lute on. So anytime we press it and hold it, it's red now. So we just need to add our other notes then. So we've got F1 pressed for this. We need to find a difference in Y position that these look good spaced apart. So we can go into our constants and give ourselves a value of a thing, you know, a difference. So let's try 10. Let's call it lute string spacing, and we'll try 10. So we'll do here, we'll start by 10 plus our lute string spacing. We'll see if that gives us a second string. That's too close, so maybe 25. Maybe 20 or 25. So lute string spacing. Let's see what 20 looks like. Okay, so that's too far. So maybe 15 or 12. Let's see what 12 looks like. Okay. Let's see. I'll do the other ones and see if 4 of them at a 12 spacing is looking okay. So let's give, this will be lute spacing times 2 and times 3. That's looking pretty good. I mean, we can always, we can change it, but that's a good start. So now we just need the different colors depending on which one's being pressed. So we can do, and you know what? Do we have blue defined here? We don't. Let's make a blue. I want like a cyan blue. So we'll make blue have a full 255, and then we'll make these maybe be just 55, and we'll see what that looks like. Oh, we didn't even incorporate it, so let's go back and we'll change this to blue now. Let's see. Okay, I want it brighter, lighter than that. I want it to be more like cyan, so maybe this can be 155. Okay. I think I need more green. Okay, I like that. It's not a big deal. Okay, let's get each individual string working now. So I will put that this is F1. And then this would be F1. So it goes F, D, A. So this would be A2 string, and then this would be D, oh no, that would be A1 and D1 string. And then F2. Okay, so we need to go to our continuous input. Where is this? And then we need to give our other pressed variables depending on the other one's pressed. So if I is pressed, then it's going to be our A1. And then if O is pressed, we want our, nope, not 0. If O is pressed, then we want D1. And if P is pressed, then we want F1. Okay. Then let's go to our render and we'll do the same thing like this, where we set the conditional color for the string to be if A1 is pressed, set the color. And then if D1 is pressed, set the color. And if F1 set the color. That's F2. F2. Okay. Let's see. So we've got toggle our lute on. Okay, so I messed up the orders here. So F D A F D A F F D Yeah, I messed up the let's just go one string at a time, right? So like U. Oh, U isn't even right anymore. Okay. So let's get, shoot. U should be F1. That should be the lowest note. Okay, I think I want that actually to be the bottom string. I mean, in my brain, because like when I look at tab, well, because yeah, on tablature, the low note is on the bottom. But, whoa, wait. I think that's right. Yeah. In tab is the low note on the bottom. I think that's right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's how I want it to be for this. So we're just jacking up U should be F1. F, D, A, F. Okay, that should be right. At least for the playing, which sounds right. And then A1 is on I. O is on D1. And then P is on F2. Oh, F2 pressed here. F2. Let's see that. See, I have this backwards, so we need, this should be on the bottom. Because like if you're looking at someone playing guitar, that is that is right. Like the lowest note would be the top string if they're holding it and you're looking at them. But if you're trying to read music, the lowest note should be at the bottom, because that's just how tab works. Because it's like you're like looking down at your guitar, then the topmost string is the bottom one to your eyesight, if that makes sense. I think we need to swap these around. But it is coming together quick, which is cool. So I think we just need to go to our bottom here and just switch our strings around. So we just need to swap every string, right? So like this one, F1, needs to be where F2 is. And F2 needs to be where F1 was. And then A1 needs to be where D1 was. And D1 needs to be where the other one was. Let's see. Sweet. Okay. So, ideally, we have another thing, which is like, instead of it being blue when you press it, and maybe we keep the blue when you press it, but I want the string to vibrate. Like, I want the string to move. So maybe what we do is have an animatable with a couple of animated frames. We draw it at the location X and Y, and whenever we press a string for a song to come out, or a note to come out, we change the animation for the string to be animated, and then by the time it finishes animation, it goes back to the first picture, or frame. And then we'll have to we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but if we can get the animation working, or once we get the animation working, then, we've got a couple of things to figure out. We have to figure out how frets are going to work, because, wow, I look really dark. Our frets, we're going to have, it's going to be kind of like Guitar Hero, but it's going to be moving right to left instead of up and down or whatever. And then if you imagine like notes coming across here, and it's actually not notes, it'll be the sheet music. So I'm kind of imagining, and maybe when we have lute state, we should maybe clear the screen so that it gets a little dimmer so that you can see the notes better, right? So maybe what we can do is, if we're in lute state, we're going to do a love.graphics.clear, and we're going to clear it with transparent black. So we want 0, 0, 0, but a maybe 130 out of 255 on the transparency. Let's see if that works. Nope. I think we need the values here. Nope. Okay. How am I doing this? I'm doing this when we do our debug. I really just set, okay, I don't do a clear, I do a set color and then a fill rectangle, so whatever works, I guess. So if we're in lute state, we're not going to clear it, we're going to set our color and fill. So let's try that. Okay, sweet. So I'm going to make it a little darker actually, so let's maybe, oops. Maybe we'll just make another one of these. Let's see. So that's 90. So we want it to be less transparent, so have more on the alpha channel. So maybe 130. So we'll try debug background 2 and see if that looks a bit better. Sweet. Cool. So let's work on getting an animation for the strings, because that would be cool if we can get that, and then we can work on we have to consider how the sheet music is going to work. So like, we'll have to come up with a timing system, right? Because we have to be able to determine if you're hitting the right note at the right time. but also I want to be able to play slightly more complex sounding songs than just what you can pull off with 4 frets and 4 strings. So I think the current plan is there's going to be 2 sets of music instructions. One is the bass pattern. So it might say, play those 4 notes. That'll be the bass pattern. And then when you go into the mini game, when you load up the lute state, the first 4 notes you play and the spacing you play them in will become looping, so that it gives you like a background of bass notes to play over. So you kind of play the bass notes, and then that'll loop for you, and then you play the melody on top of the bass notes. So I don't know if it makes sense to loop the timing or to like lock in the timing. So like we can say everything is at a 60 BPM or whatever, and whatever 4 notes you play, those 4 notes get locked into time at the 60 beats per minute for 4 measures, or whatever however we want to do that, so that we can write a melody with a consistent timing. Because if we don't have a consistent timing, it's going to be really tough to get anything successfully registering as a correct note or not. So I think that's really tricky. But we'll have access to all the frames we're at. So yeah, it'll be a thing. The other thing I want to think of is we're going to have frets. So it's different than Guitar Hero in the sense that there's only one strumming string in Guitar Hero, right? And if you strum it and there's no note, it'll sound like crap. But mine, the right note actually comes out if you just hit the strings. So we have strings and we have frets. So we're going to have, I think I want to limit it to 4 frets and 4 strings so that you can play with all but your thumbs. And I think I want to come up with a notation for the frets. So I don't want it to just be like 1 is 1 or 2 is 2. But I want to come up with either symbols or... Oh, Leva, that was so close. I think symbols could be interesting, because then when we clear a biome and we get a stone tome of tablature for the biome, it won't be just numbers, right? It'll be symbols. And I don't want them to be like wacky symbols. I'm kind of thinking, I was thinking like we can do a triangle for the 3rd fret, because a triangle has 3 points, and a square for the 4th fret because it's got 4 points. And then for 1 and 2, I'm kind of thinking maybe a circle for 1 and a line for 2, if that makes sense. Because like there's only 1 point of a circle, or like I don't know if that makes sense, but I think it'd be cool for the songs if we have a bass note or a bass pattern of strings you have to play. That would actually probably be a different notation too, now that I think about it. Maybe we have... It'll be confusing to mix up the string notation with the fret notation, and I don't want to do that. So maybe we have a specific string notation for the bass notes. I guess it depends if we want the bass notes to be included with playing frets, or if it's just the notes. Okay, yeah. I think we will. Gosh, it's getting... Yeah, there's a lot to think about here. But let's see if we can try to get a animation going for the strings, and then we'll call it a day if we can get the animation working. Because this is already more than I thought we'd get today. So that's looking good. I want to see what one less thickness looks like on the string, because once it's wobbly, I think it's gonna look, I think we need it thinner by the time it's wobbly. So I think all of these 3s, I want to see what they look like as 2s. So let's try that. Substitute every 3 for 2. I just realized I messed something up. Yeah, I messed up the multiplication here, because this should have been times 3 here. I didn't even change anything. Let's go. 3. Really messed that up. Okay. Yeah, okay. I want to rearrange these. What is so wrong about it? Okay, yeah, we're gonna undo that. We're gonna get our working one back. Oh my god. Okay. Let's organize these by, so it makes more sense. Like, yeah, we jacked this up. Okay. I'm gonna delete these quotes, or these comments, and let's just align them. Yeah, Leva. So the lute will be a key item you can equip, and I kind of want it to be, I want it to be like a key item that once you get, it's kind of just on your back, and then whenever you equip it, it's in the front of you. And then I don't know if there's probably going to be, I don't know if you have it equipped, if the lute strings are on screen by default. I don't know if that's going to be the case, or because I kind of want you to just be able to walk around with your lute and then play it if you want, but not have the strings in your face if you don't want them to be there. So I don't know, but I want to organize these so that they're from top down. So this one is first. Then it goes this one. Cause yeah, I love Link's Awakening, and you get all these instruments, but you never get to play any of them. So I'm hoping that this is kind of like, the game's about kind of achieving harmony with the environment. So I think it'd be cool to be able to just like walk around and play songs for the creatures or whatever. And then playing songs will also unlock each new biome by kind of cleansing the corruption of the biome. So the idea is every major biome will be blocked from the get-go in the game, other than the beach. And then you go down to the beach and you find your lute, and you find the first tablature for the lute. And then once you play the song in the correct place, so like maybe we have a sound cue for if you've played the song correctly, but part of it is going to be there's a riddle with the music, and you have to go find the right scene to go to and play your lute, play the song correctly at the correct scene, and that will that will either cleanse corruption in the area, or it'll I'm still trying to figure out how that works, because I want it to kind of calm down the environment. So like it'll reduce the validity or volatileness, whatever word that is, reduce the volatileness of the environment once you solve it. So the forest is the first biome that you're going to fight a boss in, and you unlock it with the beach lute song. And then, yeah, exactly, the volatility. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I'm thinking you can explore parts of the forest, but the forest will have lightning and thunder and heavy rain, and you can't go further than a couple screens in. So once you get the beach song and you calm down the forest a bit, it'll still be rainy, but it'll be less rainy. And then by the time you cleanse the actual biome by killing the boss in that area, then it'll kind of restore, and the corruption will get cleared from that biome. So yeah, I think the lute will calm the environment, but cleansing the boss will calm the corruption in the area. And the corruption is the purple goo that the enemies are infected with, which is this purple goo that these guys emit. So that's the corruption. And I want like little fountains of corruption too, like on every scene like this. Like here, there's like a gang of 4 geckos that are all corrupted. I want like there's like a little fountain of corruption that's like bubbling up. But once you cleanse the biome of that area, there'll be like a little cinematic where it shows the corruption of each fountain in that area settle down and simmer down. And then by the time you go back there, these geckos will be cleansed because there's no more corruption in that area. So each area starts out with all the, aggressive enemies, but then as you cleanse them, it'll become more harmonious. So that's the kind of idea. Hey, what up, Prosto? How are you doing, dude? We've got the beginnings of our lute music coming on. So we're just about done with stream, but we're gonna see if we can get some animation for the strings going on, so it looks like guitar strings kind of like wobbling as you play it. And then yeah, that should be fun. Hopefully we can do something like that. So I want to make the strings a little thinner. I think 1 is too thin, but let's see what 2 looks like for the strings. And of course we should put a string width. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, so let's put string width here. Or string thickness, or string width, and then we'll give ourselves that string width. So we might have to pull up some footage of a guitar string being plucked in slow motion or something so we can see that wave. But also it's probably just, we could probably just do it ourselves and see if we can figure out one that looks good. So let's just do... Okay. So yeah, let's get a potential animation going for this. So let's make a new... Our game is... I always forget the resolution. 160 wide by 144 high. So 160 wide. So we want 160 And then for now, let's just do 20 pixels high. I don't know how thick the animation's going to be, so we have to kind of play it a little conservative, I guess, with the height here, but we'll make a 2 pixel thick string here, and then we'll try to animate it. So let's make our string. Okay. I'm kind of curious what one thickness string is going to be too thin. So let's try to do this. So if we imagine, it's going to be tough to draw a curve. There might be a curve. Oh, there is a curve tool. Okay, so let's add a frame here. And we will... Oh, that is not 2 pixels tall, huh? 1, 2. Okay, yeah. Okay, there we go. We have a real 2 pixel tall string now. Now let's delete this. We'll duplicate this. And now this will be our first wavy string. So let's test out this wave tool or curve tool. How does that work? Okay. So it looks like you kind of place a point. Gosh, I need to try this again. New frame. Okay. So I'll make a new layer here real quick. Just so I can see. Actually, yeah. I'll do it on this second layer so we can see the starting point, right? So I think I actually want this to be black so we can see a white string on top of black. And then we'll test out this curve tool, and it looks like you kind of click once. Well, no, maybe I am just not understanding it. Oh, okay, so there's like 3 clicks you do. The first is the starting point, the second is the ending point, and then the middle is like where you want the curve to be? No. Oh, there we go. That's like a... How did I do that? Yeah, I am not too versed in the curve tool. Click end to end on your black line first, then drag the curve end to end on the black line. Okay, let's try that. Want to buy FL Studio, but you always see low seeders or high seeders. And 1 like. Yeah, you can't trust that. It's gotta be better moves than that. Okay, so end to end. Okay, there we go. So yeah, something like that. But we need a 2 pixel line. And then we'll go end to end. Why? Okay. End to end. Why am I screwing this up now? Like, what am I doing wrong? Do I have to hold it? Oh, okay. So you click and hold end to end, and then you select. Gosh, I still don't quite get it, but that's a wave. So we can now delete this one. Gosh, this is bad. This is so bad. Yeah, I need to take a little course in A-Sprite because this is bad. Okay, so there's that, you know, like a wiggle wiggle. So let's do a second. Now, I feel like the I just got an OBS error, but I guess we're still live. Error writing. Okay, looks like my recording failed. Okay, I'll just download the bot, I guess. But let's do a new frame. And this one will be... Yeah, I don't know what happened, but the recording failed. So hopefully we're still stable. Okay. So I think the biggest waves need to be at the front and then it settles down, right? So like the very first frame is the biggest wave and then everything after that is slower. So let's... Yeah, this is tough. I don't know the good way of doing this. Okay, we'll pull our line 2 pixels tall and we'll do the old click and drag. And then we'll set 1 point up here. Okay, I want it to be bigger than that, but let's try one more time. There we go. Yeah. And then, so if that's the first frame, then we want the second frame to be almost the opposite of that. Like the trough at the bottom. Oh, shoot, man. The layers are screwing me up. Okay. So we'll do the same exact thing, except the peak is down here this time, so that we can offset it. So now it goes like bling, blang, and then stables out. So like, yeah. And then if it gets less and less wobbly, it'll look like we plucked it, right? So let's do a little bit less. I screwed up adding this other layer. Okay. So it goes peak on the left side, low end. So this is going to be a peak on the left side, which means we click up here, but less high because it needs to ease out, and it'll be less wobbly. So like blung. Yeah. Oh, that's looking cool. That's looking cool, yeah. And then the next one, it'll be low on the left side. So we need to come low here and less low. Okay. Then I feel like one more frame before it goes back to stable, and then we'll see. So this... Okay. And then if we have one more frame of the starting frame at the end, add new frame and paste. Can we do that? Okay. Okay. Maybe a little too wobbly at the very first part. But I don't know, it actually kind of looks fine. There's just like, I don't like how this, oh, there's 2 frames here. Let's swap 8 and 9. How do we do this? Man, I'm just not getting how to do this. Delete. Okay, let's see. It looks pretty good. I mean, it's maybe a bit too much on the first frame. Like, that might be a little too much curl. But it's looking pretty good. It's hard to see, or it's hard to tell if that's good enough, or... Yeah. No, I kind of like that. It's a great start, at least. Okay, I do want this frame to have the same thickness. Oh god. Yeah, that looks a little smoother to me. Okay. Sweet. I'm liking that a lot. We need to save this as a sprite sheet. So we can do export sprite sheet, and then that looks right. Why does it not let me export? So we can shorten the canvas a couple pixels here. Because when we go to draw this thing, we're going to be drawing it from the top left point. Wow, that looks good. I like that a lot. We can afford to lose a couple pixels on top here. Maybe 3 pixels on top. We can shrink this. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not dead set in the middle, but the animation looks fine, so I think we can work with this. Sweet. So let's figure out now how we export this sprite sheet. Oh, let's save this in documents as a backup. Lute music. Sweet. And then we will try to export sprite sheet. Why can't it? Do we have to give it an output? Okay, so let's go to Tashio. We'll go to graphics and we'll call it string sheet. PNG. Okay, sweet. Export. String sheet. Okay, so there's our animation. It's all in one, but what we'll have to do is pull it in as an animation. So let's see if we can do that. Let's go to our entity defs, because I think that's where we do it. See how we define some animations here. So I think what we can do, I think all we have to do is make a table with an animation. Okay, so I think we have to, you know, we would give it every frame if it's 6 frames long, and then set its interval, set the texture. But I think we need to, I guess, where do we go and insert the animations? Create animations is what we do. Okay. So we'll need to run the create animations function, which is in an entity. Is that what it is happening here? Yeah. So it looks like our animation, our create animations is from the entity class. So we might have to potentially spawn a string entity if we want to use this exact function for it. But then we can define it, and then we have to change the animation. So I'm not going to do this just yet because I have to go cook dinner, but we did get a lot of good stuff done. We got our lute music imported and working on screen with a little UI, and then we got the string animation. So that is going to be super sweet. Let's do, we added lute music playing and string animation, but need to, I don't know yet, Katron. I did meal prep today of brisket, bacon, breakfast burritos with green chili. So I might just eat some of those, but we might figure something else out. So I'm not exactly sure. Added lute music playing and string animation, but need to trigger string animations. Cool. And then we imported the Slam library as well. Dude, they came out really good. It was, yeah, I didn't cook the brisket. I went to the barbecue store to get brisket, but yeah, I think I made like 8 burritos for meal prep. So we froze a couple and then a couple in the fridge for the week. So that should be good. I'm going to see who is... You know what? We'll raid Programmer Jeff because he's a friend of the channel. And we'll see what he's up to. But thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow. And I'll be actually implementing those animations for the strings tomorrow. So that should be fun. And then we'll worry about frets and other notes. And then we'll start, you know, coming up with the actual game for missing notes and reading the sheet music and doing all that stuff. So that should be fun and difficult, but it'll be cool. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Peace out. Have a good night.